Okay, so we made a first new CSS rule, and when we did that, over here we created a new CSS sheet that would override the bootstrap sheet. Our first CSS rule was a titletron, and with that we changed the background to a background image. We changed the text color. I'm back to my titletron rule. I can change that background font family, an existing font, or I could click on Manage Fonts and find one that I think will work with my subject matter. Maybe this font will work here, so I'll check that one. Maybe this one also, and I'll say done. Now when I come back here to change the font family, there it is. And then I can decide whether I want that font or not once I see how it looks in there. Yeah, I like that. I can also go and center my text line center. Now the only thing that's not centered is this image. We'll change that in a second. Okay, so my titletron has the dark background, text line center. What I can also do is see how that background acts. I have my background image, and I can change the size to cover, so it'll fit the whole background section. And how do I want it to be attached? I could say fixed. We'll see how that image stays still while the text scrolls over it. Okay, good. What I could also do is add some padding to this. So I go to my layout, do padding. I can do padding at the top and bottom. And let's just add a little more space in the top and the bottom. A little less or a little more. Let me add more. And I'll push everything in, so I have a little bit more of that image showing. I could also put margins on the top and bottom, so it can push it down from the other elements, or away from the other elements. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now what I want to do is center this logo image here. What I can do is give it another ID, give it a hashtag logo image, whatever I want to call it. Okay, hit enter. Well, where do I want to save this? I want to save this on my biz CSS. That sounds good. Click off of that. Now I can click on this guy. There's my new rule, logo img, logo image. And I'm going to do 0 auto, 0 auto. So auto on the right and left, 0 on the top and bottom. Well, I could put a little more margin on the bottom if I want. That'll push the image away from the text a little bit. Okay, looks pretty good. So I like that a little bit better. It's my logo, name of my company, and the slogan, and a nice fixed background. Let's change some more CSS rules. There we go. Now that is my H2. There's my image responsive. Remember, those are all in the column large 4. Well, that's a pretty generic element. I could use that over and over. I could use that on other pages. So if I just want to change the column large 4 on this page, what I can do is add a hashtag to that one. Or ID or a class. This one I'm going to make a class, which is a dot. I'm just going to say home column. Good. Enter. I'm going to save that on my biz CSS sheet. Good. And click off it. Now I come over to my home column rule. I can make some adjustments. I can adjust the padding to push that image down a little bit. 20, 20. There we go. Gives me a little more room. I could go to my text align. If I wanted to center it, line it right or left. This one I'm going to align center. I could change my background color to a background image or color. This time I think I'm going to do a color. Black might work good. Looks nice, but now my text is hard to read. So I'm going to have to go to the text for that and change the color on that. I think I'll stick with the white. There, it looks nice. And I think I'll put a little more paint on the top and bottom of this guy here. Gives me a little more room, and maybe a little margin. Top and bottom of that. Good. Well, now that I have it like that, it doesn't match up the other ones with this home column rule. So what I can do is click on my other div column, add class dot h. I was going to say, well, there's that home. If I start typing it out, home column, and I'll give it the same rule or same class. Do that again. I'm adding it. I have a pre-existing one, so if I just start typing it out, dot ho, Dreamweaver will find it for me. And now I treated pretty much the same. The only thing I may not like is that if I center the text, well, probably want to center the image too. So once again, I can make a rule for that one. If I want to use that rule over and over, I can say home col image. Sounds good. Hit enter. I want to say that in my business CSS sheet. Good. Now I come to that rule. Home column image. There it is. And once again, for the margins on that image, 0 auto. 0 auto will center that image. I can do the same for this one. Add a class dot ho home column image. There we go. And same for this one. Add a class dot hom column image. There we go. And now they're all centered. Look pretty good. Let's do one more, just so we can see how it's done. Jumbotron. Remember, if I change this Jumbotron, it's going to change all the other ones. Well, I just want to... Actually, I'm going to leave that one for now. Let me scroll down this one. The menu one. If I change this Jumbotron to make a new rule just for Jumbotron, I'll change all of them. I just want to change this one, so I'm going to add a new rule. This one's going to be an ID. I'm only going to use it once. Hashtag Menutron. Sounds good. Enter what I want to save it. Biz CSS. Good. Click off it. Here's my new rule. Background image, browse. And I have another background image here. Hopefully it's dark enough. I can probably darken it. Photoshop. And not too bad. Well, the text is hard to read now, so I can go to that text. In my Menutron, I'm going to center that text. I'm going to change the color to white or any other color I want. There you go. A little easier to read. And I'm going to do a little box shadow or text shadow on that. And change that to black. It helps the text pop out a little bit more. Okay, I don't like the way the image is sitting back there in the background, so let me go to that Menutron background rule and change the background size to cover and change the scrolling effect or attachment to fixed. And it'll give me that nice effect for scrolling it. Oh, I decided I don't want this image over on there anymore, so I'm going to get rid of that. Check out our menu. Great food, great prices. Good. Well, if I want to be a little higher, a little more space there, I could go to the padding, add a little bit of padding on that, top and bottom. This gives me a little more space for that background image to show through. Alright, good. Not too bad. So it's looking pretty cool. Got some pretty good effects going on here. Now for the menu, if I want a little more space to show, I could also go to my Menutron. Layout. and do a minimum height, so it's not going to get any smaller than, I could say 500 pixels or something. Makes it a little bit bigger. All right, then I could put a little more padding on the top to bring that guy down. Looks good. All right, let's see how we can change the thumbnails. Well, maybe I know I want my thumbnails to be the same on every page. So I could make just a generic thumbnail selector. I'm on my Biz CSS. Add a new rule. Role column medium thumbnail. Good. I should be able just to make it thumbnail. Hit enter. Put some padding on the top and bottom. Smooth the image and text around a little bit. And I could put a background image if I want, or background color. I'm just going to do a background color. Grab a dark gray color. Not too bad. Now let's see how that has a little space. Let me see if I take some of this nice amber color. See if that'll work alright. A little too bright, huh? Yeah, a little too bright for my taste. Get a darker tone here. There you go, not too bad. Nah, a little darker. I could also find an image or a texture if I want. There, it's not too bad. Now I'm going to have to change the text. For some reason that one did not change, so what I could do is make a specific rule for this one. If I click here, on my Biz CSS, I make a new selector, thumbnail caption H3. I can make a specific rule for that. There we go. I can also change the font family, just like we did before. I can see since I didn't make a hashtag or an ID, it affects every thumbnail on my website. It'll affect it on every page. All right, back to my paragraph text. I can make a new rule for that one. Thumbnail caption P. Enter. And text color. There we are. Good. Looks pretty nice. Now, let's go back to this one I changed before. It says pizza and beer is sort of the name of my company. Well, what if I want that to be bigger? Even though it's an H1 default setting, what if I want it to be bigger? I already have rules for this Titletron. Well, now I can make a specific rule just for the Titletron H1. So back here, Biz CSS, selector, add a new selector, enter, text, font size. Well, this one I'm going to measure by points. And I'm going to say maybe 50. It's pretty big, maybe even bigger. If I do 60, there, I like that, nice and big. File, save all, make sure everything's saved. All right, so we're getting there. We got the slider, title section, some pizza information, beer information. Check out our menu so you can see how things are starting to shape up. And let's do one more element here. Let's change the navigation bar. Well, I'm going up to the top level of that navigation bar. Nav bar, that's the top level there. I'm on my Biz CSS. Add a selector. Enter. Let's see if I can change the background color here. Let's stick with that. Oops, let's stick with that black color. I think that seems to be working good. Alright, gives me a black background. And I could change the font color. Let's see if that'll work. It didn't change it. So I think I'm going to have to do is make some specific rules here. So let me click on this guy here. Make a new selector. enter, text color, and put it on white. There we go. This guy here, it's called my navbar brand. I can make a new rule like on there, on my business CSS, which will override the bootstrap rule. Hit enter, text color, and maybe I want that to be red. Okay. And I could change that font, I guess. Make a new rule. And for the A, for the links, and I'll make this hover. And we'll change the hover color. And I think I'll make that red also. There you go. So when I hover over, I get that red effect. Pretty good. Let's change one more. Let's change this Jumbotron. I'll make a class for that one. Call this Fresh Tron. Sounds good. Enter. Where do I want to keep it? CSS. Good. Business CSS. Let's find that rule. There it is. My new Fresh Tron rule. Do background image. There we go. A little too dark. I don't like that image. We do a different background image. Guess we'll go this one again. Text color. Text align. Center that. I can do the text shadow. Blur it out. Make it black so that text pops out a little more. I can do some margin on top and bottom. And I can do some padding so it has a little more space. And I could change the background attachment. So it's on fixed and cover. Save all. Now one more thing I want to do is for the slider. We have that slider, our carousel, and we put that in a row. No, I'm going to make a hashtag just for that row. Slider row. Sounds good. Let's go into Business CSS sheet. Oh, that slider row rule, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put some margin on there. 50 pixels at the top. Maybe 20 at the bottom. That way it'll slide below that navigation bar so none of the images is canceled out. Good.